tonight we don't have any guests.
We sort of do.
Well, yeah, we sort of do. In about 3 minutes, we're going to make a phone call here.
Right.
But we don't have any music rock star type guests tonight.
We have breaking news.
Yeah, we do have breaking news. I was not aware of this, but you made me aware of it just before the show, and I'm very interested in this.
Yeah. Oh, we can talk about it. Should we talk about it a little bit right here?
Yeah, because we're going to make a phone call here in a minute.
Okay.
Well, go ahead.
You go ahead.
Well, I noticed over there on the CMS Facebook.
Yeah.
You you had posted a poster over there about a rock show that was happening today.
Correct.
That featured Eric Martin of Mr. Big. Warrant.
Yep.
Quiet Riot.
Yep.
And some local bands, I guess.
Yeah.
And it was happening today, and it was happening over in Waukesha, Wisconsin.
That is correct.
And, it was a rock fest. It's a summer type package tour type thing. And our good friend Red from Red and Jerry's Rockin Metal Revival is in the real radio world.
Yes.
He's in terrestrial radio aside from doing the Rockin Metal Revival. And he had some hand in promoting this thing.
He knew the promoter. I don't know if he was doing it for commercial radio versus doing it for Rockin Metal Revival, but I'm not sure what his involvement was other than he was helping the promoter to promote this thing.
Okay. Well, apparently things sort of kind of went awry, and I don't know anything more than that aside from what Red is going to tell us about.
Yeah, I don't know a whole lot about it. It's funny because I called Red. I saw Eddie Trunk posted about this on his Facebook.
Now, was Eddie supposedly there? Or
Eddie was there.
Oh, he is there.
Eddie was the host.
Oh, okay.
And I saw Eddie posted. It was like the craziest thing he'd ever seen and blah, blah, blah. And he had a little bit of a rundown. But you know me, I immediately called Red. And I was like, dude, I didn't even ask him what happened. I just said, dude, do you want to come on the show?
Okay.
And he was like, yeah. And he called, like I texted him and he called me right back. And he started to tell me. He started to say, whatever. And I was like, oh, stop. Don't want to hear it until we get you on the phone. So I really don't know exactly what went down either, other than the only thing that I know that I heard from Red and I saw online was that Eric Martin played a short set.
Okay.
And then everybody else bailed.
Oh, man. All right.
So you had enough of a show that people were in the room to be told there would be no show. So I can't wait to hear how this went.
All right. So, should we dial him up?
Dial him up. He's probably sitting there waiting.
All right. I'm dialing as we speak.
All right.
All right. We'll see if he'll answer.
Hello.
Red.
Neeley, what's going on, brother?
Hey, man. It's, as you know, it's Neeley. It's Chris on the Classic Metal Show, and we want to welcome our good friend, esteemed colleague, Red from Red and Jerry's Rockin Metal Revival, heard here exclusively on the CMS Radio Network. What's going on, Red?
I'm just kind of drying out from the debacle today that was Rockesha.
Now, I got hammered down here with a lot of rain, which I'm about 100 miles south of Waukesha.
Mm-hmm.
Did you get hammered up there with rain today?
Actually, not nearly. It was just cloudy and it rained on and off. It was really nothing of measurable amount, but it was just enough to make it a little miserable. But, it made the grounds muddy, but nothing bad.
Sure. Well, speaking of miserable, I heard there was a miserable experience there today aside from the weather.
Yeah, here, I'll give you the whole rundown. We got there, and the show was supposed to start about 4 o'clock, and Eric Martin went on, and he did a acoustic thing, and then him and Robert Mason did the song To Be With You together, and they left the show, they left the stage, and Eddie Trunk got up and said, hey, stick around, more music to come, blah, 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 and it got to be 5:30, no Firehouse, got to be 6 o'clock, nothing. Then I see the Firehouse stuff getting pulled off the stage, and then I see Lita's van pull away, and I see Robert Mason taking off, and Eddie Trunk comes over to me, and he goes, before they make the announcement, we should probably go. And so we kind of left the backstage area, and about halfway through, they said it was going to be postponed, but that show's canceled. That's done. The promoter didn't have the money to pay the band.
Holy shit. Well, you said that you had tactile confirmation of Eddie Trunk being there. Now, did he actually speak to you, or did you have to?
Yeah, I talked to Eddie for about 20 minutes.
Did you have to avert your eyes, or did you
No, I get along with Eddie, man. I don't. He's pretty cool with us. I mean, I don't have any issue with Eddie. He's a good dude.
Neely's the only one that has issue with Eddie. I have no problem with him either.
I don't have an issue with Eddie. It's just that he's very self-promoting. I mean, he's of little interest of what you got going on, more interest with what he's got going on.
He's a self-promoter, man. I guess that's the way I look at it. I mean, you got to promote yourself, but I mean, he's always good to us. I mean, I don't know. I really don't have a problem with him. He was good to me today.
Yeah. Well,
Eric Martin's a good dude.
Oh yeah, Eric Martin's an awesome guy.
Yeah, and so is Robert Mason. What good dudes.
Yeah. Did you throw our name into the mix at all, Red?
I did on the Eric Martin thing.
And he said, I know those dudes.
I know those dudes because I said to him, I go, before we interviewed you, I said, Chris Aiken told me I only needed 3 questions and I could take up 45 minutes, and he laughed. He knew exactly what I was talking about.
Exactly. Nice. Well, Robert and Eric are good friends. We've had good relationships with them over the years, as well as Eddie. It's just that I hung out with Eddie for 3 gigs last year, and all he could do was really talk about himself.
Hey, yeah, he was talking to us about the winery dogs. That was a big thing he was talking to us about. He didn't talk about that metal show or anything. He talked to us about the winery dogs, and said that when the next season for TMS came about, that he would he wanted to be back on the show, and we said cool, and that's pretty much it.
Right. Well, Red, let's get into a little bit about what happened here. Now, I know you were somewhat involved, or the promoter or something. How does a show like this get all the way to people in front of it and bands actually playing and then get canceled? I mean, what happened?
I'll tell you what happened was he had enough to pay off all the deposits, pay for the staging, the grounds, the security, but he didn't. He was counting on 2,000 walk-ups to pay for the bands, and with the rainy and shitty weather, he got about 50 people walking up, and he got it stuck in his ass.
Well, dude, Chris and I, as you know, have had a lot of experience with people wanting us to be involved with their rock fests, as it were, and you're a veteran radio guy yourself, regardless of its, what style of music it is, and you've been involved with this stuff. Everything that Chris and I have ever been asked to participate in has always been a bust, because promoting shows is a big, big risk and a big, big gamble, especially if you don't have bank behind you. Exactly.
If you don't have sponsors, it's a nightmare.
So, we were going to do that Rock Gone Wild thing a few years ago.
Mm-hmm. In Iowa, I remember that.
And that thing was a bust. And then that thing over there in Maryland this past fall, that was a bust. That Rock Harvest thing,
right?
Mm-hmm.
That was a bust. And
Nelson's Ledges.
No, that was awesome. Well, that went through, guys. Remember?
Oh, it did happen.
That happened.
It did happen. Well. Also, even something as big as the Metal Edge Tour, I don't know if you saw or was participated in that or went to it, but Metal Edge did a thing way back in 2002, and it was Dokken, Warrant, LA Guns, Firehouse, and they basically got stiffed on like 4 dates by the same promoter. They were supposed to play like Illinois, Wisconsin, Iowa, and the promoter didn't have the money. And they played in Canton, Ohio, and they were supposed to go out to Illinois and Iowa. They were supposed to play like 4 shows between Monday and Thursday, and then they were going to head back toward the Pittsburgh area. Well, they went directly from Canton on Saturday to Pittsburgh and got held up in a hotel room for 4 days.
Well, I think all these guys tonight are supposed to play in Green Bay tomorrow night. And from what I understand, that show will go down. But I think Warrant's show Friday night in Illinois got canceled too.
Yeah.
So Warrant's out on a 3-day run, and now 2 of the 3 shows have been canceled.
That's a tough go, man.
Is that a tough go, or is that a real clear-cut indicator that it might be time to put the band on the shelf?
Well, it's not the bands, you know. It's, in my opinion, it's the promoters. Because, well, let me and hear me out, Chris. I know you want to jump in here.
Yep.
But hear me out.
All right, go ahead.
If I was having some band, I'm just going to use my backyard as an example. Okay. If I was gonna bankroll a band to come play my backyard, and I wanted all the people in my neighborhood to come, but I didn't promote it, I didn't do any radio, I didn't do any press, I didn't do anything, should I expect everybody to be lined up in my driveway to have entrance to my backyard to see the band?
No.
That's my point. A lot of these promoters don't put much money into promoting the show, and they just think that by the strength of the band names alone, that should bring in the people.
But now here's my counter argument to it. One, I know for a fact that the guy in Rockesha did some promotion, because I did see a lot of promotion floated in the last 2 months.
Well, where was it promoted, though?
A lot of it was online, but that's where people are now.
I understand that, but my point is even though terrestrial radio, is sort of a dying medium, that's where a lot of people find out about shows, and that's still a very expensive way to promote a show.
It is
promoting.
Let me be the anti
anti
here. If you're a fan of that band, especially in this kind of music now, you're not looking for terrestrial radio listening. You're looking on the internet. You're looking in fan groups. You're looking in forums. You're looking in those kind of areas. The fact that Warrant lost 2 of 3 gigs pretty much says that Warrant can't draw flies if a fucking room is full of shit.
Right.
It's just that's just the way it is. It's time for them to come off the road for a while.
Right.
I'm not saying they're dead. I'm just saying that right now, and you know, I love the Warrant guys. I have much history with the Warrant guys. But, dude, it's time for them to come off the street.
Right. Well, Red, you're a veteran radio guy. What's your thoughts?
You know, they didn't go on the radio in where Waukesha is, and Neeley, you know this, is right next to Milwaukee.
Sure.
And there's some pretty big rock radio stations there. They didn't start promoting it on the big rock radio stations in Milwaukee until Monday, which to me, if I was to do a show, we'd have been promoting this show since April. You know, I mean, you just can't come at the last minute and expect 2,000 walk-ups.
I would agree with that.
It just doesn't happen.
I would agree with that.
You know, I mean, and you know, and I understand what you're saying. Radio promotion is expensive. I mean, terrestrial radio is really expensive. But if you really wanted it out on the internet, you know, it should have been on your show, and it should have been on Hairball John's show, and you know, every '80s hair band, even Jennifer's. You know, she's the big Warrant fan.
Well, she's got the number one
show. Yeah,
she's got the number one site. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, you know, you can't have enough promotion. There's never too much promotion, and I really think that's. So
if I was to sum up what you're saying, Red, you're saying that if they would have promoted on Jennifer's show, the show would have been sold out.
Probably. I mean, being number one. I mean, they promoted on ours. We're like number 70 or something.
Right,
I mean,
right.
You know, that just didn't help.
Well, sometimes you got to bring in the big guns, Red. You should know that.
That's what I'd have done. I mean, hell. But yeah, I mean, I felt bad for the bands, you know, because they were there. You know, I mean, and if it was me and I'd have been the promoter, I'd have pulled the plug a week ago or 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of get a good indicator that things are not going well.
Exactly. If you barely can cover the expense part of it, I mean, the staging, the lighting, the sound, all that kind of stuff, and you have not $1 to pay the second half of the deposits, it's time to pull the plug.
Yeah.
So I mean, Red, okay, so I mean, how did it go down that it was canceled? Did somebody get up on stage and mention it, and then what was the reaction in the room?
The people were pissed. And they're like, there's people calling the Attorney General and the DA about, you know, fraud and other shit. And, I mean, it was kind of funny because I was talking to Eddie Trunk, and I'm like, you're telling me this isn't going down? He's like, yeah. And I turned to Jerry, I said, let's get the hell out of here. And he goes, why? I said, because when they tell these people this ain't going down, there's going to be a lot of pissed off people.
So you thought it was going to be like Axl Rose in front of the St. Louis crowd?
No, Neil, I really didn't. But it's a bunch of because it's an older crowd. But it's just people have been drinking and. And some of these people paid $100 for these VIP tickets.
Yeah, well, we talked a little bit about that on the show last week. So, we talked about the money that people are willing to pony up to go to a show. We did it with the Night Ranger thing. I don't know if you heard that segment or not.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
So, Red, are you saying that they're not refunding the tickets?
Well, they said that the show had been postponed.
So that means the tickets will be good later, right?
Later, yeah, and that show's never going to happen. I mean, let's be honest.
Shit.
Holy
but,
shit.
It's the one thing I was thinking about, Neely. It's like I know Veronica and those guys are making the trip out to play that Warriors of Metal Fest.
Yeah.
Now, up until a couple of weeks ago, until I heard you guys talk about it, I didn't even know what was going on.
Well, again, this is one of those situations because I actually attended this thing for 3 days last year.
Yeah.
I don't know. Honestly, I have no idea how this guy recoups his money because any given day, there may have been 50 people there total.
Well, let's talk about that for a second. Red, you can jump in on this as well. They have a fundraiser that's out there trying to raise funds right now to make the show. I don't know if it's for this show or for next year or what, but they're way under their number that they're trying to raise.
Is it like one of those Kickstarter campaigns?
Yeah, it's like I think it's fundraiser.me or something, but it's the same thing. And I think they're at like
Isn't it the same thing the Rev used to use?
No, the Rev wasn't that smart. But no, but they're at like $1,500 of $5,000 they need. So I'm almost wondering if next week is going to happen.
Well, I wondered that last year because that thing went on for 3 days, and there was like next to nobody there.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing where I feel bad for like Veronica and Benedictum and those guys making that trip out there, and then the show. Does the show happen? Do they get paid? Do you know what I mean? I mean that's a risk for a band to haul their shit all the way across the country.
Well,
then all of a sudden there's no show.
I'm not trying to give anything away here, but from what I understand, I think that they're just doing it for expenses only.
Oh, okay.
Just covering costs.
Okay. Well, hey, but still, I mean, hey, that's a big risk.
It is
for the promoter. Yeah.
Well,
and for
Red,
the band.
Well, Red, how long have you been in commercial radio, and how long have you been involved with promoting this kind of stuff?
27 years I've been in commercial radio, and I've been promoting shows probably about 15.
All right. Now, in this day and age, would you personally get involved with being a promoter?
No.
No thought on that one.
No way.
No, because the reason
the Rockin Metal
because
Revival Fest.
Yeah, we were thinking. Yeah, Jerry and I were thinking about doing that. Yeah, but with like Andy's band and a couple other people. But the thing is for one, not to be political or anything, but the economy sucks.
Yes.
And I mean, there's so much upfront money that you got to come up with. If you can't get sponsors, right. Or some big investor, you're screwed.
Right.
I mean, leave the concerts to the Live Nations and those people of the world, because being a small time promoter, you just can't make it anymore, especially on these kind of gigs.
Yeah. Well, according to Jennifer last week, she let us know that all a band needs to do to be successful is have a promoter help them do the show.
That's right.
And that's
hey, she's number one for a reason.
Yeah, well, she's got the inside track, and I was shocked at the simplicity of it all, and somehow even after 20 years of doing the CMS, I missed it.
Now, she's in Texas, right?
Yeah.
Well, I can't believe that Warrant isn't playing Texas about every other weekend.
Or basically staying at her house.
And staying at her house, yeah, exactly. I mean, her and Eric Martin, or her and Eric Turner got to be close.
Right, they are.
Yeah, her and Turner got to be close.
Sure.
Yeah.
So.
Wow.
So
let me ask you this, Neely.
Yeah, go ahead.
Would you're friends with Don?
Yes.
Would you promote a Dockin show?
boy, I'll tell you what.
Even being his friend.
It would be tough. I guess it depend on. Well, let me just put it to you this way: if I was going to do it, I would have to put out the money to promote the show. I was doing commercial radio, 10 or 12 years ago. And the only reason Dokken came to the Cleveland area was because the Classic Metal Show was promoting it. That was the only reason he accepted a promoter doing the show. And they played a club that Chris is familiar with, is Peabody's.
Oh, yeah.
But the thing is that the promoter front-loaded the show with like 7 or 8 bands. And they make the opening bands sell the tickets.
We've got a club like that here where we live too. Is like a national act to come in and they'll bring in 5 bands before them, and to be the opener, they've got to sell like 50 tickets or 40 tickets.
So they figure if the opening act 5 times 50, sells those tickets, he's going to make money. But he's using the opening bands to be his promotion machine. He's not going to advertise on radio. He's not going to get into the local newspapers. He's not going to get into the entertainment magazines. He's just counting on word of mouth and these opening bands to get all their friends to come to the show and buy a ticket.
Well, let me give you an example that's real world as of this week. We have, and Neil, I haven't even talked to you about this, but we have really good friends that are in the industry, and I actually secured one of them to play the opening of my museum next June. The VIP opening of it. Mm-hmm. And it's not real hard to figure out who it is because it's not Dokken, so you can guess from there who it is. But the first thing that I had to do in our agreement was I told him up front, I said, well, I personally will buy you 2 plane tickets. I personally will make sure that you're fed. I personally will guarantee your lodging, your plane flight, and your food, and then whatever fee I have to pay on top of it. But that's the only way I would do it. There's no way in fuck would I do it hoping that this launch that we're doing, and I'm sure it'll be successful and whatever, but there's no way would I guarantee it any other way than the fact that I can afford to do it. Other than that, there's no way would I do it. I
don't blame it.
It's just the way it is today, man. Why would you take a risk and start, selling something that you can't afford, man? It's stupid.
Exactly.
But with that being said, I'd just like to announce the Classic Metal Show Night Out with Judas Priest in July. I just want to let everybody know that start buying your tickets now. They might show up.
We've got the Rockin Metal Revival backyard barbecue at Jerry's with Michael Schenker coming up too, and we're going to plan it for a year out.
Man, that's awesome. And I don't know if you know this, Neely, but Red and I have been working together for the 20th anniversary concert for the Classic Metal Show and the 10th anniversary, which is going to coincide together with Rockin Metal Revival.
Okay.
With Metallica.
Nice.
Can you believe it?
Nice.
Or was it that band that was at Nelson Ledges?
No, it's the real Metallica.
The real Metallica. Excellent. I can't wait.
The real Metallica.
I better get a job.
Oh, wow. Well, what was it like being in the presence of rock royalty today there, Red? Being that Eddie has really...
I hang out with Jerry all the time.
Well, being that Eddie has, slimmed down and he's got a new book out and he's promoting the shit out of that, and he's
like I said, Neely, I've met Eddie probably 4 times, and he's always been nice, and he recognized me, came up, hey, Red, how you guys doing?
Really? Wow, look, he called you by name, huh?
Yeah, so he was cool, and like I said, I got no issue with Eddie. Eddie's always been good to us.
Red, can you preface this? Did you buy one of his books?
But I didn't get it autographed or anything. I bought it through Amazon.
Nice.
But somehow he must have gotten your name.
yeah, he got my name off the mailing list.
Right.
But like Eric Martin and Mason were cool. That was kind of cool. But I felt bad for all the people that were there.
Yeah, no shit.
Did you see Lita?
No, that was the reason I went.
Really?
Yeah.
She's a tiny girl. She's no bigger than one of your thighs there, Red.
Well, I've never seen her live. I mean, I've never seen her in concert, and I just thought it'd be cool to see her. That's the reason I went.
And even backstage or whatever, you didn't get to meet her?
No, her manager showed up, said, "Do you got the money?" And they said, "No." And they turned around and they drove off.
Really? Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Same with Firehouse's manager. Quiet Riot never pulled in. The only one from Warrant was Mason.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
I'll be damned.
What a debacle. Holy shit.
Yeah. So we went right on our Facebook and let everybody know that, hey, we just promoted the show. We didn't have anything else.
look at you already distancing yourself from this. So
hey, I gotta. You know what I mean?
Well, how many people? I don't think we covered this, but how many people actually did show up today?
I would say, Neeley, there was probably about 1,500.
Really? And that still didn't cover the cost, huh?
No, he paid all the costs out of that first $1,500.
And what were those tickets running? What were the tickets running?
30.
30. Okay.
$30.
Okay,
Yeah.
so let's see. That was $30 at 1,000. That's 3,000 plus another 1,500. $4,500.
Yep.
4,500. Wow.
Yeah.
That's not, dude. That won't even book Quiet Riot.
No.
I know damn well that Firehouse starts at 5.
And
so,
I know you just said it, but so none of the Firehouse guys showed up either, huh?
No, I just got done texting with Bill Leverty, and he's not really talking about it, but
Was anybody there from Reuben Cross?
Rubicon Cross?
No,
Reuben was in the area.
Say it
Reuben
right.
Cross? No,
Reuben
no,
Cross.
I forgot. I heard the bit. Yeah, they were on Jennifer's show, weren't they?
Well, they're part of her library.
Yeah, they play in the library.
Yeah, excellent. Oh, and I can't believe that she was our news reporter for the first 2 years that we were on.
Yeah, we can't believe that either. We just try to sweep that under the carpet like that.
We're going to mention that, Red. We'll let you sell yourself out on that one.
That and Jim Bob, two are probably the biggest fuck-ups I've ever made in radio. But, hey.
Fuck no, Jim Bob was the shit.
What happened to Jim Bob? What happened to him?
He got married.
That's it?
And,
he just got married and that was the end of it?
Yeah, he got married and his wife I don't think thought it was funny. So he's going to be writing a book coming up.
Well, there's another reason there, kids. It's not funny.
No.
But yeah, everything's good, and we're going on 100 shows since Jerry moved back from Portland and finally got divorced, and so things are going good.
So let me put it this way.
Might be Jerry this week, actually. Do you guys know that?
What's that?
Do either of you know that? I might be seeing Jerry this week.
Really?
Yeah, me and Jerry been talking about him coming down and staying here and going with me to Columbus next Saturday for the Benedictine show.
Attaboy.
Well, let me phrase this for you, Red.
Okay.
Jim Bob gets married. No longer part of the show. Jerry gets divorced, comes back to the show. Chris gets divorced, comes back to the show.
Yep.
What does that tell you? That sounds like a pattern to me.
Hey, it's all part of being part of the Brotherhood of Metal. You know what I'm saying?
Well, we've been ruining the Brotherhood of Metal for years.
So, it's all part of the game, I guess.
Yeah, no shit.
But, that's one thing about you and me, Neeley. We never left the shows.
Well, it's my show to start with.
And Red's, too.
Yeah.
Well, you gotta stick with the devil, Exactly.
And hopefully we can all get together sometime. I'd like to do that again. That was fun when we came down to Nelson Ledges.
Well, I've got a full studio here at the CMS Palace. You and Jerry are more than welcome to come down one Saturday, because I got the accommodation.
If Chris makes the trip to Chicago, let's do her.
I'll make the trip to Chicago, but how the fuck are we going to get Jerry into the goddamn studio, Neeley?
Well, we'll figure it out a way.
Jesus Christ.
But
of course, as much pot as he smokes, he could probably float his way up there.
We'll figure it out.
Well, I'm very well equipped here, Red. I know you've never been here, but I'm very well equipped here.
All right. Well, hey.
I'm in.
I mean,
you guys pick a date.
We
I'm
just got to
in.
get Jerry.
I mean,
hey, I know Jerry's listening, so Jerry, if you're in, let him know.
I mean, for Christ's sakes, I've had Russ Dorff and Billy McCarthy here.
Wow.
And
Has Don ever been there?
And Don's been here. Lon Friend has been here.
Here's the real question, Neely. If I come there and Jerry's there, can we get high on the air?
Yeah, I'm not so keen on
I
that.
know that's like against your code.
I don't want that in my house.
Come on, dude. What time?
Well, then just get us a ramp so we can get Jerry in and out, and we'll do it outside.
Dude, you'd have to see us upstairs. That would be one hell of a ramp. That'd be like a fucking roller coaster.
All right. So.
All right, Red. Well, dude, thanks for the update, and to give people the quick plugs.
Before you do that, I got one more question, Red. Right. Who made the announcement?
Some roadie guy. The promoter was gone, I think, and Eddie Trunk was like, "I'm not doing it," and I'm like, "You can kiss my ass. There is no way I'm going out there and doing it." So it was just one of the roadies.
And then what was the reaction once he made the announcement?
There was some booing and people, where do I get my fucking money back and that kind of shit. But by the time I did it, I was ready to roll. I'm like, I was halfway out the door by the time he made the announcement.
Well, the thing about Jerry is he's always ready to roll.
Exactly.
Now, what kind of a venue was this? Was this an outdoor thing or what?
Yeah, it was an outdoor thing set up at the Waukesha County Fairgrounds.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I know the staging, I was told, cost around $14,000.
I believe that.
Staging and sound and lights was like $14,000.
The back line and everything was about.
Yep.
Yeah, I can believe that.
Yeah. So he pissed that money away.
Attorney standing by counting new checks that he's going to get from that promoter.
Oh my God. It's just a mess, man. It just, and the show's been postponed. Yeah, bullshit. This is never going to happen.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
So
excellent, Red. All right, Red, now you can get to the plugs.
Rockin Metal Revival heard on the Classic Metal Show. We actually lead into you guys on Saturday night, and then we are on Wednesday afternoon. Chris, correct me if I'm wrong, 1 o'clock?
I believe that is true.
I get the Eastern Central time zone thing screwed up, but yep. And we get a lot of feedback from people out the CMS, and we appreciate it. And we appreciate you guys supporting us from day one.
Good. Well, the only criticism I have, Red, you guys got to lay off the whole cowbell thing. That's kind of like old.
So we got to lay off the cowbell thing?
Yeah, that's getting old. I listen every week, and every guest you have is, you know what this song would need is more cowbell. It's getting old.
Yeah, well, we've never done that with, like, the Lemmy question.
Well, the Lemmy question is unique, though, because everybody can relate.
We used to ask the Spinal Tap moment. I thought that was a good one.
Sure.
So I like that one, too.
Maybe we'll go back to something.
But nobody asked the Lemmy question before us, I don't think.
Exactly. No.
I say, Red, fuck Neely, go with the cowbell. I always get something out of it. I like the cowbell question.
So, I appreciate you guys having me on, and thanks for, like I said, supporting Rockin Metal Revival. We couldn't be doing it without you guys.
Well, we're glad you're still around, Red. We've got other pussies who backed out of doing the show, like the Johns and, Hairball John. What is it with the name John? I guess those guys just can't hang. They just can't hang.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'd like to see Hairball John come back, and I would like to see Metal Lessons come back, and those guys did a good job, and I was just like, man, why are you guys quitting? Oh, well, we got wives and kids, and it's like, fuck yeah.
I got one question before I leave you guys.
Go.
What slot are you giving 80s Hairband World on the Classic Metal Show Radio Network?
Well, she's gonna get probably a daily show at noon, because according to our radio consultants, we get the highest cume at noon with Jennifer.
Exactly.
It's cume
you could
at noon.
Sell advertising.
Right. It's cume at noon with Jennifer. Which by the way,
yes.
I went and listened to her latest show, which she uploaded 2 days ago.
Yeah.
She's only 5 shows in. She's already calling it in. All she did was take the audio from her first show and edit it into her latest show. She didn't even do a show this week. She just took the audio, the speaking parts, and edited into a bunch of music, and then that's it. And then she ended with the same ending she did on the first show.
Nice.
Yep.
Hey, Chris, if you want to sell some books, get on that show.
Is she not? She's not entitled to a best of. I mean, she's done 5 shows.
Right.
Yeah, she's done 5 shows. It's her best of.
Right.
Yeah.
Come on.
So even after 5 shows, she's already phoning it in.
Yeah. Well, gentlemen, I'm heading back into the bar here.
All right. Well, say hey to Eddie Trunk for us. Send him our love and our admiration, and we hope to reach the lofty, the lofty goals he's set for himself.
Okay, bud.
All right, Red.
All right. See you guys later.
See ya, bro. Hail and kill.
Hail and kill. Hand job.
Well, there goes Red.
Here goes Red.
And he had a good phone connection too.
Yeah, he did for a cell. That's good.
Yeah, that was real good.